This video is brought to you by Straight Goods News, Canada's alternative online news source. Visit straightgoods.ca.
For a fair judge to review parliamentary process, to review the precedents, to look at the rules, and it is for him to rise above the fact that he was elected. He's not a partisan actor in the House of Commons, and I think he will be fair, he will be impartial, and I think there's a good chance he will rule that this bill is inappropriate. I think there's nothing less at stake than the future of the respect of the Canadian public for parliamentary democracy. This bill is an outrage.
When do you expect the answer?
Not right away. He reserved decision because the official opposition and the Liberals have both flagged that they want to study my arguments, prepare their own analysis. I hope they'll support me. I hope they'll support my arguments. There's precedent here for the Speaker to reject a bill when it's not properly an omnibus bill at all. So,
Would it be too late, though?
No, I don't think they'll let that happen. That's why I made my objections today, as opposed to waiting to report stage. I wanted to give the Speaker and the parliamentary experts who advise him enough time to review, to write a judgment. I expect it will be precedent setting. I can't say I expect one result or the other. I certainly hope and believe I have a very good argument that the Speaker should find Bill C-38 to be out of order and rejected as such. And there's always this sort of a middle ground. He could say, in the same way that Peter Milliken said, I find grounds here to find contempt, but, so he could find concern and throw it back to the government to say, don't you think under the circumstances you might want to remove the sections that you can't link to the budget? So he has scope to say yes, no, and intermediate areas as well. So I certainly hope he will.
Do you sense any kind of wiggle room with this government on any of these issues?
I sense unhappiness in their own backbenches. I think it was very important this weekend, and I don't know how many of you heard about it, that the Federation of Canadian Municipalities in an emergency resolution voted almost unanimously to tell the Prime Minister to pull all those sections that relate to environmental laws out of C-38 and to only put forward the strictly budgetary measures. And that's very significant because you may recall that when Keith Ashfield launched the gutting of the Fisheries Act, he had standing with him a representative from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities saying that this was all okay with FCM. Well, now we have the order of government that has the most frequent engagement with Fisheries Act provisions. One, we're told they're supposed to be up in arms across the country about how the Fisheries Act and habitat provisions get in their way of putting in culverts and ditches. Well, not so much when you look at it. They got a chance to vote, and they voted overwhelmingly, almost unanimously, to tell Stephen Harper to take those provisions out of the budget bill. So the opposition to Bill C-38 is growing, and it's growing among conservatives. So I think that we have a very good chance of getting this. There may not be wiggle room, but they better find some soon, because Mr. Harper has unhappy members of his own caucus, unhappy members of his own party who voted for him, who are simply not going to tolerate the destruction of so much of the core fundamental laws that protect not just fish habitat but clean water and forests. This law is a linchpin to protecting the environment in Canada, and they're trying to get rid of it basically by stealth.